Hey everybody, it's Chris with the Meebles Market. We're doing our top 9 games for the month of August. I picked 4, Lynn picked 4, and then we had one shared. That's why it's not 10. But I can give you a 10th to make it even if you'd like. So we'll start off. First game is going to be from my list. That's going to be Survive, Escape from Atlantis. This is the 30th anniversary edition of the game. This isn't a new game, but it's a new game that I haven't played. I actually didn't even play this one with Lynn because she was being a sleepy baby, so I played it with my parents. And if you haven't played this, it's super fun, super simple, and extremely take that. Everybody's on an island, and the island is sinking. It's falling into the water, and you're trying to rescue all your people off the island. But there's only so much space in the boats, and certain people are more important than others. So you need to make sure you get your important people off the island while trying to make sure the other people get eaten by sea monsters and such. Really fun game. Survive, Escape from Atlantis. First game on Lynn's list. Micro Macro Crime City. Obviously, this is a popular game. It won the, I think, Kennerspiel Award. If you haven't played it, it's kind of like Where's Waldo. The game is just one big giant black and white illustration of a city. Like each quadrant of the city is a different time period of the city. And you'll read a card. It'll tell you like, hey, find where the pub is at. And then you're gonna look around, find the pub, and then it's like this guy's sad, and then you're supposed to find out why by like looking around the map and seeing where he was earlier in the day and stuff like that. Pretty cool. We've only played like the first 3 missions, I think, and they're all rated 2 out of 5 stars. So far, it's extremely simple, very easy to play, but it's interesting. So I'm guessing that's why Lynn put it on her top 4. Next game from my list is going to be Unmatched. Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. This is another game that I played not with Lynn. I played this with my dad one day when he was visiting. I've played the Unmatched series before, just not for a long time. Love this because of how simple it is. My dad plays board games, but he doesn't play like heavy games or complicated games or anything like that. And without reading the full rule book, I could teach him how to play this in like maybe 5 minutes, and then he was good. He had maybe one question while we were playing, and we were into the heat of it. The Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the map though. The map was kind of small. So if you are interested in this, I don't know if I would recommend starting with this box. Maybe just get the Legends or the Cobble and Fog box, but super fun. I guess this would be called a skirmish game, perhaps. And all the different boxes can be played together. They're just different characters with different maps, so you can pick and choose who you want to play with. Plays up to 4 players. Next on Lynn's list is 60 Second City, the 2-player collaborative game. This was one of the new ones we picked up at Target. It's from Buffalo Games and Puzzles. It's fun. It's interesting. You play, I think, 5 rounds. Each round lasts 60 seconds. And you and your partner, it's a 2-player game, are trying to grab these tiles from a blind draw and then put them to get different patterns to get points and build the city. It's fun, a little chaotic. Again, this is a game I can probably teach this in a minute, and you can play it right out of the box. So, and you can get it at Target. If you don't have Target, I'm sorry. It's one of the best stores. All right, next we've got on my list Pantone the game. If you look at the BGG reviews of this one, you would be surprised that I have this on my list of my favorite games of August. And if you asked Lynn, my mom, and my dad, you would also be surprised that I had this on my list for August. But I think this is a fantastic game. It's a hard game, but it's a fun game. Basically what you do is you have, the box is a mess, but all these different color like paint swatches basically. Like you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and they got all the little paint cards on the wall. You have a box full of those, and then you have a deck of cards that have characters' names on them. So you can see here this says Abraham Lincoln. You're going to have 60 seconds to use the cards in the color cards to make Abraham Lincoln and get the other people to guess him. It's fun. I'm going to be testing, hopefully this weekend with Lynn and my parents, a cooperative mode for this game that I came up with after playing the standard one because they just weren't a fan of it. But I think the game has big potential. I highly recommend it. Alright, next game of Lynn's is Viticulture Essentials Edition. And we have Tuscany is in here too. Did we play with Tuscany? We did not play with Tuscany yet. I read the Tuscany rulebook though, and it seems like it adds some cool stuff without adding like a lot of complicated things. I played Viticulture in the past. It was Lynn's first time playing Viticulture. I think it's a solid worker placement game. I'm not really a big fan. I don't drink wine. That's not my scene, but I can appreciate the workings of a vineyard, and I think that the way this game is set up, yeah, some people complain there's randomness because you're at the will of the deck of cards for the bonus actions you can take. I like randomness in some of my games, so I think it's like a fun worker placement that's a step up above from basic while keeping like a tight theme tied in and everything makes sense. So I would introduce this to someone who hasn't played a worker placement game before because everything you do in the game thematically makes sense. It's like, I need to grow grapes. Once I get my grapes, I'm going to need to turn them into something. Then I need to age the wine. And then there's going to be people who buy it. So all the actions you're doing make sense. So Viticulture Essential Edition, approved. All right, last game on my specific top 4 for August. Import, Export by Jordan Draper. Good stuff. How many times have we played this? Lynn and I played it twice, and then we played it with my parents once. Lynn and I might have played it 3 times. I don't know. 3 times, I think, is what we played total. And again, this was a new game, new to me, new to Lynn. I passed on backing this on Kickstarter because a lot of reviews say that it's not the greatest game at 2 players, and I regret not backing it. Super fun game. It seems somewhat complicated, but there's literally just like 5 actions that you can take. They're written on everyone's player card, and when someone else takes an action, if you have a card that matches their action, you can play it to follow and do the same action with them. It's one of those weird games like Montanai or I think Glory. I've not played it. Glory to Rome, perhaps maybe, where like you're like tucking cards in the side of and on the top of a little piece, and whatever you have tucked gives you additional actions and things. This is a cool game. I think this is a smart game. It's beautifully designed. It fits in this tiny box, and like the components are simple but beautiful. I'm a really big fan of this, more so than I thought I would be. Import, Export. If you've not played it, check it out, please. All right, we're getting down to the bottom. Lynn's final game is Near and Far. We've only played this once. I honestly wasn't really that looking forward to playing it. I liked Above and Below. I don't think I loved Above and Below. And Near and Far I thought was just more Above and Below. But Near and Far. This game's sweet. It like really feels like you're like building this party of adventurers. Each player's building their own party. And then you're chilling in town, like stocking up on supplies and doing whatever you want to do. And like dueling other players in the town. And then you're going out into this open world on this map. And you're exploring different places. And you're like setting up camps and making it easier to travel around. And then you're like investigating things and going on adventures. And then you're going to go back to town to try to restock and use the stuff that you got. It's really cool. I really want to play it again. I know, again, Lynn put this on her list, but this was probably the game in my collection right now that surprised me the most that I didn't want to play, and I'm really excited to play again. Last but not least, this is the shared pick from both Lynn and myself. And that's going to be Just One. If you have, this says 3 to 7. I think it probably plays best 4+. I've not played it with 3, but I'd probably say 4+ is best. If you have 4+ people to play with, it says maximum 7. Technically, you could play with more. So if you have 4 to 7 people to play with, and you've not played Just One, I would say buy this game today. It's been on my wish list for a while because I thought it sounded cool, but I don't normally have a lot of people to play games with, so I've never bought it. It was on sale. I said, you know what? I'm just going to get it because I also saw it on Sam Healy's top 10 games, period. His top 10 games of all time, he put this thing on there. It's a sweet game. Again, super simple to play, but very fun. Everybody gets a little easel in front of them with the dry erase marker. And then one player takes a card and puts it facing everyone else so they don't see the card. They then pick a number 1 through 5. Each number corresponds to a word. Everyone else at the table sees the word. The person who drew the card doesn't know what the word is. Everyone else then takes their marker and writes on the back of their easel a one-word clue to get the person to guess this word. The person who drew the card then closes their eyes. Everybody compares their easels. If anybody wrote down the same clue, their easels get erased or tipped over, so that no longer counts as a clue. So you want to think of good clues, but you also don't want to think of clues that other people are going to take, but you can't discuss what you're doing. So like you're trying to think of good stuff, and it's like, oh, this is a good clue, but I hope someone gives something that gets them thinking in this category because then my clue will make more sense. Or you think like, all right, everyone's going to pick these 2 words, so I'm going to pick this one because no one's going to pick it. But then everybody thought that, so then you reveal your cards, and you're like, this was the most simple thing. Nobody picked that, but because everyone thought everyone else was going to do it. I don't know if I'm doing it justice, but Just One, this game's phenomenal. This made my month great, and I'm looking forward to playing this any chance that I can. Please, if you're out there, Repost Production, Fun Consortium, anyone else involved with this, make an expansion for this, please. I want more cards. Thank you. And that's it. That's our top 9 games for August. To make it an even 10, I'm just going to add in game I'm most excited to play in September. And that's going to be, I just picked up A Song of Ice and Fire, the miniatures war game. I'd never played a game like that. Lynn's never played a game like that. That's what I'm looking forward to play the most in September. So look out for our September video to see if that makes it into my top 10 for the month. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this. Let me know if any of these games are in your top 10 of anything and what you think we should be playing. Feel free to like and subscribe to the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.